Thanks for checking out SYMFONI on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to repeal the Electoral Act number 6, 2010 and enact the Electoral Act 2021 to regulate the conduct of election in the federal, state, and area councils in the Federal Capital Territory and for related matters.
Bill read the third time and pass. Yes. Leader, we move for the suspension of our rules to allow us to adopt the votes and proceedings of today.
The vote and proceedings of today be adopted, please. Thank you.
Is the
I rise to second the motion for the adoption of the votes and proceedings of today as simply moved by the Leader of the House. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
I think it's good to take the chair to say thank you to these patriotic members who have been here since morning, who put aside their very good, important job to come and do this very important assignment, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm sure you are aware of what happened yesterday. That was what led to the adjournment of the House till today. And by the ruling of yesterday, NCC was invited because they have the technical knowledge to inform us about the total area network coverage of the country. And this was done so that we take decision from an informed mind, as I said yesterday. So the experts came and then they enlightened us. And what NCCE said, they confirmed that we have 50% coverage and we have 2G and 3G, that is 50%. And that is not enough to transmit results. This is from NCC. So we cannot afford to disenfranchise one person that is an eligible voter because each vote must count. Secondly, we asked, is hacking of the server of INEC possible? And they said, yes, it's very possible. And thirdly, you remember that in 2019, there was an allegation that INEC server was hacked, if you recall. So, we cannot afford to put something in the law that is ambiguous. So the House, in its wisdom, accepted what the Joint Committee did, the Joint Committee of the Senate and the House. And this is it. This is section 52, and I'm going to read what it says. It says 52(2). Voting at an election and transmission of result under this bill shall be in accordance with the procedure determined by the Commission. This is what the two joint committees did, and this is what the House adopted today. I hope I've answered your question.
Okay, now that the Senate and the House have passed different versions, yes. And the conference committee, what have you expressed? Because we saw it in PIB that the end of it was the Senate version that was adopted. Have we seen any form for that? And secondly, the Speaker said that there will be no committee activities until resumption. Will the conference committee be meeting before September?
Well, that is the decision of the Speaker. It's not the decision of the Chairman. But we do not foresee any problems. If the Speaker decides that the conference committee is going to sit during the break, so be it. If it is the wisdom of the Speaker and, of course, the leadership.
Please, before the next question, can we put our phones on silent, please? I object.
That differentiate this one from the old one. There's somebody.
for this question. Let me make it clear that nobody is against electronic whatsoever. It is what is on ground that will determine what will happen. And INEC constitutionally has been given the right to conduct election. So it is not for people to say this is what they want without taking into cognizance what the providers can do. They even said this network we are talking about is not like the POS. Somebody asked the question, why is it that we have POS in so many remote villages and we cannot do that? They said it is not the same. We are talking about transmission. It is not the same. So yes, we all want electronic, but what is on ground and what is operational is what will be our number one priority. Then no Nigerian that is eligible to vote should be disenfranchised. That is what we have to put in mind. That is why we said in our wisdom, the joint committee, that the procedure should be determined by the commission, because it is time, yes, to say, yes, this is what we want. Yes, we can say it, but the experts have come and they have told us what is exactly now, what is happening now in the country. So we do not take a risk in making laws. When it is time that we are ready to go electronic, then we will come back to the floor of the House and amend the law. That is why we are here. What is the difference between the old and the new? The only difference is we added voting at an election and transmission. The present law says voting at an election under this act only shall be in accordance with the procedure determined by the Independent National Electoral Commission. So you now know the difference. This one adds transmission. Voting at an election and transmission of results under this bill shall be in accordance with the procedure determined by the Commission. That is the amendment. And that is what the House has adopted.
Chairman, my name is Ahmed Wase.
I was part of the U.S. election. I went as an observer. And the U.S. election is not completely electronic. In fact, the manual checks the electronic. They count their votes, the paper votes, and then they look at the electronic. It is not 100% electronic. In the UK, it is not electronic. I also observed election there. And there are other countries that have tried it and have thrown it out. So I'm giving you that information. It is not that developing countries are going 100% electronic. And you mentioned the US. That's why I'm referring to the US. And I was part of the election. I went as an observer. And I'm telling you what we saw. I'm not the only one. I'm not standing in for the NCC. So the question you asked about NCC, I'm not to answer that, please. And also, let me correct you. The polling units are not 119. They have increased to 178, 486, or something like that. All right? Thank you. I don't know anything about NCC. I heard what the officials of NCC said, and I go by the resolution of the House. I am the chairman of this committee, and I go by the resolutions of the House. And the resolution yesterday was to invite NCC to come and inform the House of what is the position of Nigeria as it is today. And that is what was done. And that is where we stand. We took a decision based on an informed mind from the NCC. We are not planning. We don't intend to rig any election. Let me say again that nobody is against electronic voting and transmission. We are saying, as it is now, it is not possible because of what we heard from NCC. That is just it.
don't you think it's a waste of resources if the House will just after
on that 52-2, and he asked what is the difference between what is in the Principal Act as it is today and our amendment. That is it, not the electoral. How could I say that? I have a big book here that contains the amendments, fundamental amendments. I cannot stay here and tell you everything that is here, but we are going to bring out all the amendments. This contains the Principal Act and the amendment and the committee's recommendation. That is why it's so bulky like this. But I want to assure you that we are going to bring out all the amendments, and there are very, very important amendments. Let me just mention even one to you, if you want to hear. The case of the Kogi election in 2015, whereby a candidate dies when polls have started but has not been concluded. The decision has been taken. So we are not supposed to divulge everything as it is now until the House, the two, that is not the House, not the Joint Committee, the clerk to the National Assembly has the responsibility now of bringing out what is here and what is to be transmitted. It is not for the committee to do that. But from the Electoral Matters Committee, we are going to bring out all the amendments and then give the press.
Madam Chairman, I was going to ask you, my colleague earlier asked you why the INEC chairman who was supposed to appear did not come. You did not respond to that question. The INEC chairman severally has said that they have a technology to transfer.
Not standing in for the chairman of INEC. I'm chairman, Electoral Matters Committee.
Why didn't he appear before, ma'am?
So am I to answer that question? No, I was not the one that invited him. The House invited the chairman. Diaspora is a constitutional issue. It's not electoral. It's not an electoral issue. It's a constitutional matter. It's the right to vote. It's a constitutional matter. It's under the Constitutional Review. It's part of, I am a member of the Constitutional Review Committee. It's part of what we are deliberating in the Constitutional Review Committee.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.